Okay, once again po, good evening po sa inyo dyan and good afternoon po dito sa amin. So I hope each one of you are safe and yung mga may hina po ang signal, you can thumbs up po para pwede natin balikan kung ano man yung mamimiss niyo po. No? So, yan. So, for this session po, we are going to start. I'll be asking you to answer the question before I will be explaining. Okay po? So, you're going to answer first the questions that I have on the PowerPoint. Then, after that, saka po natin i-rational using our technique of the law of elimination and leverage kung bakit po yun yung naging sagot. Okay po? So, I will be giving you at least 1 minute on each item so that you will be able to analyze it, identify the stem of the question, and apply the law of elimination. Teacher A, can I start sharing screen po? Okay, salamat po. So you can have your notebook or a piece of paper. So this is just a simple assessment of the lectures that I did last week and rationalization. Huh? So give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Yes, thank you, Sir Darren. So we're still on the assessment and evaluation of learning. Okay, so this is the first question. So you have 1 minute. Okay. You don't need to copy po, no? Okay. Next question. Okay, last 20 seconds before I proceed to the next. Okay. Third question. So you have 1 minute to look at the question, identify the stem, identify the two options that does not define or answer the stem of the question, applying the law of elimination, and leaving two possible answers. Okay, next question.
Mm.
Yung kakapasok pa lang po, so don't worry, I can go back to the question later on. So, pakisagot na lang po kung ano yung makikita niyong question. No? So, in our session for today, before I start the rationalization or explanation of the questions, pasasagutan ko po muna sa inyo. Okay? Next question. Okay, next question. Okay, sorry, I have some typographical error to that. The question mark is on what does this situation mean? Period po yung sa percentile, no? So my apology for that. So this is, what does this situation mean? 23 is Joseph's score in math, which is equal to 70th percentile. So once again po, yung sa kakapasok na po sa ating room, okay, welcome again for our session for this review. So, ano po yung question na naabutan nyo? Yung po ang pwede yung sagutan. And we will go back to the first three questions na na-miss mo. Okay, next question. Okay, next question. Give me a thumbs up if you're able to get everything you need po on the question. Okay, thank you, Sir Renz. Thank you, Sir John and Miss Kate and Sir Michael. Thank you po for those who thumbs up. Maraming salamat po. Okay, next question. Thank you, Sir Renz. Okay, thank you. Thank you po sa mga nagka-thumbs up. Thank you po. Okay, so you have 1 minute. Yes, thank you for that. Thank you, Sir Jomar. Thank you, Miss Kate. Thank you po. Okay, next question. Thank you, Sir Janjan. Thank you, Miss Kay. Thank you, Mama Jimmy. Okay lang po ba yung volume ng aking microphone on your end? Tama lang po ba yung taas? Thank you, Sir Garrett. Salamat. Thank you sa heart. Okay po. Okay, next question. Okay, next question. Okay. Thank you, Miss Christine. So the question is all about evaluation device. Okay, last 90 seconds on this question. Okay, next question. This good and accepted practice to give students challenging and creative learning tasks. So what probably the reason why teachers really give challenging and creative learning activities for tasks? Thank you, Miss Kate. Thank you, Miss Christine, Miss Angeline. Okay. Miss Maria Elizabeth. Okay. Next question. Thank you, Miss Kate. Miss Maria Teresa. Okay, next question. So this is all about the graph of the skewness of the scores distribution. We have discussed that last time in our last review. Okay. Okay. Next question. So Miss A administered the test to her class and the result is positively skewed. What kind of test do you think Miss A gave to her pupils? So positively skewed. Okay, next. Thank you, Miss Angeline. Okay, once again, yung mga kakapasok lang po sa ating conference room or review room, uh, we started first with answering the question. Okay, it's different from what we have on the previous two sessions. This part of the assessment, since I gave an handouts last time, and most of the topic that I will be discussing today is in that handouts. So I just want to check if you were able to have some time to read about it. No? And also this session will serve as a clarification or some doubts with regards to the content of the handouts that I give. Okay, next question. Thank you, Ms. Christine. Okay, thank you, Sir Darren. Okay, next question. Okay. So this question is all about the characteristic of a positively skewed distribution that is presented using two of the using the measures of central tendency represented by a certain scores or number. Thank you, Sir Jomar. Thank you, Ms. Christine. Okay. So next question. So which sets of scores has the least variability? Thank you. Thank you, Sir Renz. Okay. So this question is all about percentile ranking. So that would be the end. So I'll go back to those who were not able to see the first question. Okay. So let me just go back to that. So to those who were not able to answer the first set of questions, so here it is. And those who are able to answer, you can still review your answers. No? Okay. So only 1 minute for each item for those who are not able to start it. No? Okay, good evening po doon sa kapasok ko lang. Okay, so for this session, I started with asking you to answer some questions before I will be explaining and rationalizing.
Sir? Sir?
Yes, 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 Miss.
Pwede po muna ako
Sige po, sige po.
Pwede po muna ako, sir, lumabas.
No
Sige
worries.
po, thank you.
No worries, no worries. Okay. Mhm. Okay. Okay, next. So again, doon po sa nakatapos na, if you want to look back, pwede pa rin po, pwede pa rin itong i-review yung sagot kanina. Yan. So, we're just giving chance for those po na hindi nakapagsigot kanina agad na, so that you will be able to check later on.
Hindi na ako gamit. Hindi lang ako gamit yan.
Mukhang mahina po talaga yung signal sa atin. No? Medyo naglalag yung iba. So I hope later on during the explanation or rationalization of the items, maging maliwanag po sa inyo. So once again, doon po sa kakapasok pa lang, for this session, started asking the reviewees to answer first the question before ko po ipapaliwanag mamaya. So, ano po yung masagutan nyo lang? Okay po. At 2 o'clock, we will start the rationalization of the items. Mamaya po sa pagsisimula po natin ng ating rationalization of details items, I hope pwede ko po makita yung mga tatawagin ko, no? Yun, mas maganda po yung nakikita ko. Salamat, Miss Kate. Okay lang signal mo dyan, Miss Kate?
Pwede ko na.
Okay. So you can go back. Yung mga nakatapos na po sumagot kanina, baka sakaling on the first glance, yun yung naisip natin sagot. On the second glance, sometimes at yung sinasabi natin, we have the first instinct and second instinct. No? So the first instinct usually kapag nakita natin yung keywords, yun, we jump right away to the choices. So we don't tend to weigh anymore the possible answers. So kaya medyo dun po tayo nadadali pagdating sa exam. And I would like to say thank you for those who dropped a message to me in Facebook and asking their questions and clarifications. Maraming salamat po. So 7 minutes before I will start rationalizing the questions. Welcome to the room, Miss Hannah Jane. Okay, so that will be the last question that we have. Okay, good. So I hope you were able to answer the questions. Again, don't worry if you will not be able to get it correct po, no? I just want to know paano po natin pinili yung sagot. Again, what the technique that I give you is the law of elimination and weighing or leverage, no, or leveling the two possible answer. So can we start now? Okay na po ba sila? Give me a thumbs up. Okay. Then I'll be calling someone po to read, no? Okay. Sir Renz, would you mind reading the question?
Noted, sir.
Thank you, sir.
What does a negatively skewed score imply? Removed letter C and letter D because it is an academically poor, which is when we speak about negatively skewed, most of the students got the high score. So letter B. Sir, correct. Yung answer ko sa letter B.
Okay. So The first two to be eliminated is, okay, the first two to be eliminated. What does a negatively skewed score imply? Okay, negatively skewed is that right or left? Right or left skewed? Pag sinabi nating negative. Is that right or left? Where would be the tail?
Left, sir.
Okay, it is on the left.
Left.
Okay, so it is on the left. Now, we always take note that when we say skewness, no, it talks about the distribution of the score. Okay, so this distribution of the score. So letter C, the students are academically poor. Yes, it can tell us that that can be an interpretation of that. Okay, a proportion of the class is academically poor, definitely. That all of this can be possible answers, no? But the question just simply asks the score. What does it imply? So meaning if you're going to look a negatively skewed graph, then that is the first thing that you will be able to see. And what that would be. And that is letter B. All right? That's letter B. Sino pong tumama?
Me.
Sino tumama? Yes, good job. Okay, so good job. So that's nice. Okay, so all of this po, if you're going to read, no? If you're going to read the options, lahat tama siya, you know? But if we need to look for kung ano talaga yung tinatanong ng tanong, no? That's the stem of the question. So we just want to see the score as it is plotted or viewed in a diagram. Okay? So that's why we choose letter B. Okay, tama rin po yung paliwanag ni Sir Renz. Okay? So that's why I tell you that we need to really look very well to the graph of the positive or the right or the negative, the left. Okay? Especially the peak and the tail, no? The peak and the tail. And another thing, ano po yung tatandaan natin when we look at the graph, we look at the measure of the central tendency. Then we look at the peak, kung nasaan yung peak. Okay? Then we should also be able to identify, kasi pwedeng baguhin yung ganito, no? What is that? The X and Y, no? The X and Y, the label of the X and Y. So pwedeng baliktarin. So we should know what would be what is on the Y axis and what is on the X axis. Okay? So these are the things wherein we can be distracted by the question. Kasi makita natin parehas, but yung pala nabago yung label, no? On the y-axis, what should be your focus? Ano yung nakalagay sa y-axis? You know, in the number line, right? The y-axis and the x-axis. So the x-axis will always be the score. The y-axis will always be the number of learners or students, no? So pwedeng baguhin yun, pwedeng baliktarin yun, no? That's why we need to be careful with all those trivial things, especially in a graph. That's why when we teach about graph, labeling the graph or legends of the graph is very important. So, yun po yung mga bagay na titingnan natin. Okay, good job. Okay, next. Okay, so, Sir Jomar, would you do the honor, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Teacher M gave, excuse me. Teacher M gave a scientist using form A and B, after which she computed the test reliability index. Which form did she use in her computations?
Okay.
I think, sir, letter B, the
Okay.
parallel form.
Parallel form. Okay. So this is actually an handout that I gave to you last time when I talked about assessment and evaluation of learning 1. Okay, wherein I presented to you the different type of reliability index. Makita niyo po yan. So, test, retest, you have that there. Split half, okay? And internal consistency, definitely, that's one we will be removing. Then, test, retest. No? Test, retest. And we will be leaving this too. Okay. So, ano po ba yung parallel form. The parallel form is another name for equivalent form. Okay? Equivalent form. So, minsan ginagamit is parallel form, minsan ginagamit naman is equivalent form. So, yes, yes, Sister Mohaira, yes. Okay, so who were able to get po letter B? Tingnan natin, who got letter B? Tas natin kamay. Yun, very good. Okay, now, what is the difference between parallel form and split half? Ano kayong difference nila? Bakit yun yung dalawang iniwan natin? Definitely, the one to be removed, test, retest, and internal consistency. Sir Jomar, bakit mo napili yung parallel form? Did you leave the two? Yung ba yung naiwan mo, the split half and the parallel form?
Yes, sir. Parang meron siyang similarity pero mas umangat kasi yung parallel form. Ang split half kasi parang meron siyang ano ba yan? May tawag.
Isang test,
Isang test na meron
distributed yung questions, add and even. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yun, ganun po yung ano. Well, parallel form, parehas na no, pero magkaiba yung pagkaka-arrange ng questions. A and B.
Yes, sir.
Okay, for example, for number one here on A, that would be number 10 on letter B. Okay? So, kaya makita natin kung ano talaga yung content ng test na yun, kung ano ipapakita niya. Well, split up, you really separate them to odd and even. One form only. Okay,
One test that is divided into two.
yes. Yes, that is what we call test. Kasi parallel form, andun na yung keyword. Okay, forms A and B. Okay po. So again, parallel form or equivalent form. Okay. So I hope that that would be clear. Next. Ma'am Christeline. Yan, so, thank you
Yes,
po.
sir.
Gusto mo naka-open yung camera. Maraming salamat. Ayan. Para makita ko po yung ating kagwapuhan at kagandahan. Ayan. Sige ma'am, go ahead.
In an individualized education program, what would be the best example of evaluation? A test is given at the end of the unit. B, a report card with classified scale of letters A to F. C, a written description of the student's performance. D, early diagnosis and ongoing feedback and guidance. Ang ako, sir, kay letter D.
Okay. So letter D. Ano po muna yung dalawang tinanggal mo? And bakit yun yung dalawang tinanggal mo?
Ano po, sir? Tung written description of the student's performance po. Para siyang pen and paper test po ang ginagawa. While report card, ang report card po kasi parang ang haba na po nung letters A to F talaga, mahirap ma-identify. I think so. And then si test, medyo may conflict po sa test and sa D po.
Okay.
I think A and C yung mari-remove.
Yes, Sir Daryl ba yun? Sir Daryl, is that you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, okay. So, bakit po yung A and C ang mari-remove?
So yung letter A, sir, ang tinatanong niya is ano po? Evaluation. Pag kasing test is a given at the end of the unit, ibig sabihin, it may be either summative or formative.
Okay, babagsak siya ng assessment.
Summative or formative po.
Babagsak siya ng assessment, no, di ba? So, hindi siya magiging
Evaluation.
Evaluation, yes. Okay. Then next.
Yung letter A po, letter C po, are written descriptions of a student's performance.
Saan naman po siya babagsak? Anyway, the answer, Ma'am Christeline, is correct, no? Letter D. Yes, no, that's correct, no? That's correct, letter D. Okay? Pero kailangan nating malaman kung bakit yung letter D. Okay, because there are two possible answers. So
May
let us
feedback yung method.
May
yes,
feedback po sir, may feedback.
Yung
Tapos
feedback.
guidance po.
Yung keyword,
yes, yes. Nandun yung word na
feedback.
feedback and guidance. Meaning you are checking if you're able to meet your target objective. Okay, you're not just assessing, but you are also interpreting so that you can come up with a judgment kung ano yung gagawin mo pa sa susunod. Okay? So yun po yung ano natin na ano. So we need to know, yun. Ito kasi ang laging lumalabas. Okay? Assessment, evaluation, measurement. Itong three terms na to. Yung test kasi napaka ano lang yan eh. Kasi sa education, no? Sa education, we have test, measurement, assessment, evaluation. Itong apat. Di ba? Okay, yung test, napaka-simple. That is simple. Simply the tool that is used. So we need to focus on the difference between these three. Kailan mo sasabing evaluation, kailan mo sasabing assessment, kailan mo rin siyang sasabing measurement. Maliwanag po. So, pagka nagsagot tayo ng mga questions from some reviewers, and there are questions that identifies about this, especially this one. This is all about evaluation. Individualize. Okay? Individualize. So meaning there is an continuous evaluation of the performance of the learners. So that's why feedback is one of the strong keyword that you will be using in order to really choose letter D. Okay? Nagsimula sa diagnosis, assessment, then feedback and guidance is evaluation. So magkasama yung dalawa. Maliwanag po. I hope I make it clear on your end. Tama po yung napili natin, pero dapat lagi nating inaano kasi professional education questions are more of metacognition. It's thinking beyond thinking. Okay? Thinking beyond thinking. It's not just merely memorizing the key concept, but rather applying it into situations. So katulad, ganun po talaga ang question sa PropEd. Minimal lang ang definition. Kasi talagang susukatin natin kung hanggang saan, how deep is the understanding of the LPPs dito sa mga importanteng bagay na to. And this is actually the core of education process. No? Teaching, learning, evaluation. Diba ba? So laging nandun yung ano. Okay? I hope I'm clear on that particular aspect. If you have doubt, you can tell me now. Next. I think this is the letter. Yun, pasensya na, doble pindot ni sir, no? Okay, can I have Ma'am Maria Teresa? Ma'am, okay lang po ba? Sino po kaya? Ma'am Evelyn, si Ma'am Evelyn. Okay. Again, masanay na po kayo sa akin, talagang ini-involve ko kayo, no? Okay, para po at least tumatak sa isip natin yung pinag-aaralan natin. Ma'am Marlene, I hope Ma'am Marlene would be able to give to read the question. Wala, ako na lang. ako na lang. Okay, the least meaningful method of reporting test results. Okay, so this time, if you're done with the test, you're now going to interpret the results of your test. Okay, so the least meaningful, pinakamababa na interpretation of the performance ng test mo. So, what would you remove from that? Sir John.
A and B, sir.
Sir John. Yes, Sir John.
I remove A and B, sir.
A and B. Okay, percentile
Yes, sir.
rank. No, percentile rank. Meaning, you are now talking about the position or the status of the certain student score to the rest. Okay? To the rest. So meaning napakataas ng kanyang interpretation about that. Then percentage grade, ito yung nakikita natin pagka nagte-test tayo, no? 100. Okay. So it doesn't mean naman na sasabihin talagang maganda yung pinakita mo. So the least meaningful is definitely your score. And that is your row score. Okay? That is your row score. Sino po tumama? Yan. Okay.
Kapalitan lang.
Mukhang perfect na to. Mukhang perfect lahat. Okay. So, doon po tayo lagi doon sa technique natin na law of elimination kasi again, it would be advantage kung talaga magiging face-to-face ang exam nyo, no? Hindi magiging online. Okay? Kasi pag online, medyo nakikita mo na kagad yung choices. And my advice nga is, cover first the choices, focus on the question. Tutok ka lang sa question, siguro 30 seconds on the question and 30 seconds also on the choices. Kapag hindi mo pa rin kaya, jump to the next. Huwag kang magstay na matagal doon sa item na yon. Okay? Because yung kalaban nyo is oras. Okay? Kahit gaano ka kakapreparado, kapag ka nakita mo yung question, medyo iba doon sa inaral mo. Parehas yung inaral, pero magkaiba yung pagkakagawa ng question. That's why we say prophet is thinking beyond thinking. So, huwag tayong mag-stick doon. Kailangan masagutan kita. No. Jump, go to the next, and just be sure, balikan mo. Okay? Walang masamang iwanan, okay? Pero balikan mo. Yan, tatandaan po natin. Huwag tayo mag-stay doon. At least 1 minute, that would be maximum time siguro pwede na doon. That's why I teach you the underline and encircle yung kagad. Pagkabasa mo ng question, underline mo kagad, encircle mo. Okay? So I hope those technique will help you as you are starting with your reviewers, yung mga binabasa yung reviewers. Okay, let's move on. Okay, this is percentile. No? So I have given you a handout and I have highlighted the main definition of percentile. Nakita niyo po ba yun? Yung PowerPoint na napakahaba. Okay? And the different measures of variability. Lahat nandun na. In-explain ko na lahat. So yun lang po yung tatandaan natin. Again, do not memorize but analyze those. And think about the synonyms of that. Para pag binago sa test, alam mo na yun lang yung ibig sabihin niya. Okay po? Sir Janjan. Ay, tapos pala Sir Janjan yata. Sino? Ma'am Angeli, are you there? Ma'am Angeli?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Should I read the question, sir?
Yes.
Which of the following refers to percentile? A, expresses the number of correct answer in the test. B, percentage of people who have received a given score on a standardized test. C, use in stating standard deviation. And D, number indicating standing corresponding to a percentage of a group. I would remove, sir, is A and C, sir.
A and
Sir?
C. A and C. Okay.
C.
C as in cat. Right? Okay. So
Yes, sir.
express as
Yes,
the
sir.
number of correct answers in the test. So definitely that is not percentile rank. No? That is not percentile rank. That is your row
Yes,
score.
sir.
Okay, that is your row score. Then C,
Yes,
use
sir.
in stating standard deviation. Bakit natin tinanggal yung letter C? Sir, Ma'am Angel? Ma'am ba, sir? Ma'am.
Ma'am, sir.
Okay, yan. Sige po,
Okay.
bakit po natin tinanggal yung letter C?
Kasi this is not stating the percentage of the or the percentile rank of the student or in who's the student on the test.
Okay. So that's great. Sige po, feel free to unmute your microphone. Mas maganda po yun. At least yun yung po yung kinaganda pagka gusto ko na i-involve kayo kasi nakikita natin yung interpretations. All of you are studying about this, no? You study the handouts that I give you, and once you read that, you come up with your own idea to simplify paano mo maiintindihan. Pag nakita ko to, eto siya. Ito lang yung tatandaan. Pag percentile, it has something to do with this. Ito yung words ng percentile. And if I can remember right, sabi ng teacher ko dati, ito daw yung ginagamit sa LET. Kaya dati, sabi nila, paswerte yan. I don't know if that is true, no? Paswerte yan kapag nag-take ka ng batch na to, sometimes the question is easy, then the next batch would be hard, parang ganun daw. But I think hindi naman siguro ganun, no? Hindi naman ganun. It just so happened that there is really, nagkakaroon talaga, tinitingnan natin yung mataas. Pag napasama ka talaga doon sa mga may scores na 99.99, 99.99, so meaning, yun ang magiging basehan. Okay, because percentile rank is something to do with your standing in relation to the particular population or group. Okay, so the correct answer here is, yun na, sinabi ko na po. Number indicating the standing corresponding to a percentage of a group. That's why percentile rank is sometimes shown as a percentage. Sometimes it is shown. So ito po yung way paano siya na-present, no? It can be presented as a percentage. It can be presented as a score, or it can be presented both as score and as a percentage. Why? Because percentile rank, we are identifying the scores which will be the basis of identifying the position of the rest of those examinees. So pagka nakita na natin yung tanong na yun, meaning ito na yung basehan mo, this is the scores that you are going to be your reference. And that score will tell about the performance of the other scores. That's why if your handout is open, is your handout that I gave you last time open? Nakabukas po ba? You can open that so that you will able to look at it, the definition. Pwede niyo pong buksan. You can do it at on your laptop. Sige po, buksan nyo and go to percentile rank and you will see there the main definition of that. It has something to do with the relationship, okay, the ranking. So, meaning, standing. Ayun na, rank, standing. Are we clear po? Sinong tumama? Ayan, alam ko tama lahat yan. Yes, Sir Renz. Sir Jomar. Tama din. Yes, Ma'am Mel. O si Ma'am Mel lang. Ma'am Mel, pwedeng ikaw po susunod. Ayan. Okay. Yun. Relating to what I am telling a while ago. Yes, Ma'am Mel.
Sir, sorry, nakain po kasi ako.
Ay, sorry po. Sorry din po. Hindi ko alam. Sorry po. Sige po. At thankful ako na nakikinig pa rin kayo habang kumakain. Okay? Doing two things at the same time. Yan. Okay. Ako nilang po. What does this situation mean? 23 is Joseph's score in math, which is equal to 17th percentile. So again, that is period. May I apologize for that typographical. So 70th percentile. So we're talking about percentile. So that's why I asked you to open your handouts that I gave last time. Ano ba ang tatandaan natin pagka percentile?
Talks about percentage.
Talks about the percentage. Ano po yung word na tatandaan mo pag percentile? Yes, Miss Kate.
Yung standing mo basing on a group, sir.
Okay.
Your standing.
Yes, okay. So if you're going to read all of the choices, and all of this talk about standing. Right? All of this talk about standing. Tama? So if we will remember only standing, may hirapan ka nang i-analyze yung question. That's correct po, ha? Percentile is standing. But when we say standing, pwedeng ikaw ang nasa taas, pwedeng ikaw ang nasa baba. Di po ba? So that's why, if you're going to look at the choices, all of these are standing. O, again, ulitin ko. Pag tinandaan mo yung standing above. Oh, again, punta tayo doon sa handouts ni Sir Mads. Ito anong binigay ko. Anong ibig sabihin ng percentile? Anong klaseng standing ang pinag-uusapan?
Ito ba yung walang ano, sir? Yung walang question mark in sinabi niyo?
Yes.
Okay po.
So the reference score is the score of Joseph. So anong sinasabi tungkol sa percentile ranking ni Joseph? Again, when you remember standing, tama po yun. But most of the choices will be talking about standing. Joseph's score is higher than 23% of his classmates. That is standing. Okay? 70% of Joseph's classmates got scores below 23. That is, again, standing, referring to Joseph. 70% of Joseph's, that classmates got scores above 23. Again, standing. Okay? Joseph's score is higher than 23 of his classmates. Again, that is standing. So, ano pong tatandaan mo pagka percentile?
Sir,
Yes, go ahead.
The word below, sir. Below.
Okay. The word is,
Below a given score po. Ganun po. Below.
ang nilagay ko sa handout is at or fall. Can you see that? Were you able to
Sir?
see that? Okay? Or, so fall, ibig sabihin nasa ilalim. So, it will not refer to above the score, but rather it would be below. So, meaning 70% of Joseph's classmates got scores below 23. Why? Because it is the score of Joseph, which is the reference point. And the rest of that would tell about the performance of the other classmates or population. Maliwanag po. Again, ulitin ko, huwag nating tatandaan yung standing or ranking na term kasi lahat ng choices na ibibigay sa'yo will sound to be talking about standing. Okay? It always talk about standing. And this is what makes talaga the prof ed a very, kung titingnan natin talagang mahirap kasi pwede niyang i-rephrase lahat yung sentence. Okay po? Are we clear? Huwag natin tatanda yung standing, but rather, remember either at the score or fall within the score. So meaning, you will read the question, what is identified score, then all of those scores perform not so good in relation to that. Maliwanag po. I hope that is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yun. Okay. Which of the following is not to be considered in preparing items for objective tests? So this is very easy, no? This is very easy. Okay? So not, always remember the word. Ito kasi pwedeng naka-bold yan. Usually kasi the rules naman in making the test, kapag ka merong mga words that uses not, except, ito yung bagong in constructing test, dapat naka-bold siya. No? Naka-bold siya. Okay? Kita kagad. Dati kasi, you can remember, when you're taking test, hindi siya naka-bold. Talagang diretso siyang sentence, kaya hindi mo ngayon na-analyze kung ano talaga yung gusto niya. That's why I'm telling you, you identify the stem of the question, you identify the conditions or the parameters, then that's the best way for you to be able to identify talaga and give the correct answer. So not to be considered in preparing items for objective tests. Make each test items comprehensible. Hindi ka naman gagawa ng test na hindi mo naunawaan. Always remember, the STEM question should be clear, okay, and relevant. Group items belonging to the same type together. Okay, ano po to? Doon sa paggawa ng test. Okay, and this is actually an advice. Sometimes, merong gumagawa ng test, multiple choice, tapos, then multiple choice ulit. Yung mga ganon, you know? May mga ganon. Diba? May mga ganon. And another thing, yung matching type, sabi ng matching type, when you make a matching type questions, the questions and the choices, the matching type A and B should be in one page. Hindi siya pwedeng maputol. Remember that, no? Hindi siya pwedeng maputol. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-flip lagi. That's why in the board exam, puro multiple choice ang gamit natin. Walang matching type, walang ano. Kasi yung multiple choice talaga, halos nandun na lahat yung skills. Medyo na ano lang siya, bumababa siya dahil nagiging dahilan ng nanguhula na lang yung iba. And sometimes pag nanghula, medyo tumachamba. Sabi nga nung teacher ko dati, pag hindi nyo alam ang sagot, sabi ng write C. Sabi na, but po C kasi it stands for correct. Okay. So pag wag yung gagawin yun. Okay?
Sir?
Yes, Sir Michael? Is that Sir Michael? Sir, Ma'am Angeli, go ahead.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir?
Yes.
Na-reveal nyo ba, sir, yung sagot doon sa percentile?
Yeah, yes.
Parang di ko yata na-catch up yung answer doon sa percentile.
I come back.
Letter C po ba, sir?
Okay, below.
Letter C po ba?
Below. Okay, below.
Below, sir. Letter B.
Okay, letter B.
Below.
Yes, below. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay po.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. I hope, akala ko na ano na kanina nung iba. Okay? So, the answer here is very difficult test items. You know that, no? The table of specification, merong particular percentage kung
Reject.
ilan lang yung difficult items. Okay. Kasi your objective is to see how far the learners were able to meet your target learning goal. And most of the learning goal, hindi naman ganun kahirap. That's why, if I'm not mistaken, 70-20, 70-20-10 for ang distribution niya. Okay?
70-20-10.
Yes, 70-20-10, yun. Diba? 70-20-10. So meaning, mas marami yung easy.
Easy.
Kasi naman, bakit? Your objective is just to measure the learning of it, no? Pero sometimes, talagang pagka merong mga magagaling talaga, that's why we still have that 10%. And we are applying as what we call the Bloom's taxonomy in making the questions. Kasi doon natin bumabagsak yung 10% kung sa natin questions. Okay po. Again, 70-20-10. No? That's why we are really required about table of spec. Okay, to promote better student learning, which of these should be practiced and testing? Okay, ito yung medyo ito yung medyo talaga nagiging challenge for teachers sometimes. Okay? So, what will be removed? Napaka-clear naman, no? Letter C and letter D. Okay?
Yes po.
Papers and stock room. Okay? Use test to get even. Ibig sabihin, para makabawi, no? Get even means makabawi sa estudyante. Experience nyo ba? Na-experience ba? Tuwatawa si Ma'am Cristelin. Na-experience ba? Okay. So pag na-experience natin, that's actually, again, a violation already, no? So the two answers that you will believe is about checking, no? And in reality, okay, pag sinabi natin yung reality, ito yung, kung pipiliin talaga is letter A. No? Okay, kasi ito naman yung nangyayari talaga. Hindi agad na ibabalik, di ba? But standardly, dapat yung letter B. Why?
Yes, letter B, yes.
Okay, why you give test? Di ba? To be able to assess the learning ng bata. Okay, and who will be able to assess his or her learning? The learners itself, no? Because we teachers, we are just a facilitator of learning. Okay? And we give a certain device to measure if our learners were able to meet our target objectives or competencies. So pagka dinilay natin, again, ulitin ko, standard dito, letter B, okay? So pag pinili nyo yung letter A, I will not blame you because ito talaga yung nangyayari. But if we are going to really have the standard,
Letter B po.
okay, letter B. Check and return corrected papers to students as soon as possible to appraise them of their performances. Kasi minsan, ang bata talagang sila mismo lalapit sa teacher. Have you experienced that if you're teaching, no? Sila mismo lalapit sa'yo, sir, ano lang po score ka? So, they are very particular with their score more than the learning. Pero pag naibigay natin that on time, and more than returning the test paper, we should be able to have rechecking, no, to really emphasize bakit eto naging mali ang sagot mo dito, ganun. That's why kung makikita niyo po, no, nakita niyo sa Google Forms, no, there are in the Google Forms there is what we call frequently missed questions. Okay? The frequently missed questions will give the teachers the idea kung ano yung hindi klaro sa bata at yun lang yung babalikan mo sa topic mo. You don't need to really teach the entire, no? Kasi nakuha naman nila nagkaroon lang ng medyo hindi niya naintindihan dito sa particular item. So ganun din po pag nagsasagot tayo ng reviewers natin, kung saan tayo medyo nagkakaroon ng doubt, doon tayo mag-focus. Yung kuha na natin, kaya na natin. And I hope when you're answering your questions, nagkakaroon kayo ng self-assessment. For example, nagsimula akong sagutan to, then I have another set of questions na kaparehas lang nito. Tingnan natin yung scores kung nag-improve. Ayan. No? So we should have a self-assessment kung nasaan na tayo. And that is what we call really the preparation. Okay. In scoring essay test, which of the following is not a good practice? Okay. So in an essay test, when we make an essay test, in order to really help the learners assess its learning, kailangan natin gumamit ng rubrics. Okay? We use our rubrics to give score to an essay. That's why letter A is a very good one because this talk about rubrics. Decide which qualities are to be considered in scoring the answers. Ano ba yung gusto mong makita to sa essay ng bata? That's why essay is sometimes considered to be also a higher order thinking type of test. Especially if the essay is what we call an extended essay. Please take note. Extended essay. No? So if you will encounter questions that talk about high order thinking skills, and you will see essay, extended essay, and you wait that there are two questions, you always go to the extended essay. Why? Because it gives it gives really a high structured thinking. Okay? Because you're looking at the relationship from a previous topic to another topic in a form of an essay. Para makita mo. Kasi minsan, ang bata, pag sumagot ng essay, ito yung ang ginagawa ng bata, pinapahaba ng sagot. Bakit? Ano naiisip nila? Hindi naman babasahin to ni sir. Hindi babasahin ni ma'am. Okay? And this is one thing that's why we have a rubrics. So that it would be easy for us to identify kung anong gusto natin. Write comments and correct errors on the answer. Ano po yun? When we have an essay, we have what we call the editing. No? Yung editing. Can you remember yung mga dati, yung sulating pangwakas, yung mga teachers na, sino kayang kabatch ko dito, na yung mga 80s, okay? Or siguro yung mga, wala nang sulating pangwakas. Yung writing prompt, di ba? So nakikita natin kung saan tayo mag-improve. And that's the same thing with essay. And this is a challenge now in this time. Kasi yung mga bata nakakalimutan na yung tamang spelling because of texting, because of internet. Yung you na Y-O-U, yun na lang. Yung as in at na lang talaga. Parang at gmail.com. So, these are things na hindi dapat natin binabaliwala. Kasi essay is a form of assessment. Okay. Rearrange the papers after checking one question before starting to check the test. That is true, definitely. Then, accept all answers written by the testers. Ito yung hindi pwede. Hindi mo pwedeng i-accept lahat. Why? Because you have a target qualities. You have a target qualities. That's why, me when I giving a test, we use a certain mark. No? Minamarkahan ko ng 2 lines, okay? Or in circle, meaning you were able to really identify the core concept of this question. So para alam ng bata kagad. Kasi when we write essays, there are a lot of ideas kung bakit sinasabi ring batas to. Kasi because of coherence, organization, and coherence. You can experience, di ba, pag nagsusulat tayo, ang dami nating sinusulat hanggang sa lumalayo na tayo doon sa pinaka-topic. And this is what teachers need to help with the learners, no? To stay on the core concept, on the core topic. Okay po? So, who got the correct answer? Letter D. Mukhang lahat. May pumili pa letter C. Pumili ng letter C. Yeah. Sir Renz, tumatawa. Sir Renz, letter C ka ba? Sir Renz? Okay.
Letter B ako eh.
Letter B. Okay. So, kasi minsan kasi na-experience natin, pero importante po talaga we give comments because that is feedback. That is feedback, no? So, we need to really inform the learner kung nakuha nila talaga. That's why when I make an essay, I set up really a condition kasi mga bata, minsan kahit gaano kahaba yung line mo, isang sentence lang ilalagay nila. You will not consider that an essay, no? That's why I set a limit. Minimum of 3 sentence, maximum of 6. Ganun. Para talagang ma-assess natin yung gaano kalalim yung learning niya. Next, a statistical index which represents the relationship between two varying measures which occurs within class.
Correlation.
Okay, the answer is correlation coefficient. Okay. Nakachamba.
Nakachamba.
Hindi ako maniniwala. Okay.
Chamba.
So, what would be the guide words, no? What would be the guide words?
Sabi na kasi sa
Correlation.
relationship. Tapos yung correlation. Yung
Correlation,
Relationship.
relationship.
Opo.
Relation.
Coefficient,
Sorry.
index. Okay? Coefficient is index. These are the numeric representations. No, meron tayong tatawag na index of difficulty. So that's still the same thing with coefficient kasi that's numbers. Maliwanag po. Okay? Can you remember your algebra? Numerical coefficient. Okay? So, a statistical index, so meaning it is a number that represents relationship. Ayun na, relationship. Sinuportahan pa. Varying measures. So you are really correlating between a certain aspect of what you have been testing. Maliwanag po. Sino pong tumama? Hindi ako maniniwala ng tsamba kasi I know you were able to identify that. Okay? Because of the word relationship. And again,
Nag-base lang po sa relationship, sir.
ah?
Nag-base lang po sa relation.
Nag-base sa relationship, no? Okay. So, sa susunod, palalagyan ko ng talagang iba-ibang term ng ano. Ceiling grades is not, no? Ceiling grades is not. Yun, pwede mong iwanan yung dalawa. Cross-validation and correlation coefficient. Maliwanag po. Okay, because when we cross-validate, meaning we're looking at their relationship. So this still it means also relationship pa rin because you cross-validate. Are we clear po? Give me a thumbs up. So I know you were able to get that. Mukhang perfect halos data. Okay. Next, the process of identifying educational goals and the extent to which these objectives have been realized or met. Okay. So the process of identifying educational goals and the extent to which these objectives have been realized or met. So, anong tatanggalin nating dalawa dyan?
DNA. Remove DNA.
DNA, competency and examination. Okay. Correct. Competency. Ano ba yung competency? Your target skills or objectives, no? So, a process. So, it's a process. Okay? It's a process. So, you will be leaving evaluation and planning. Tama po bang iniwan natin? Tama po ba?
Yes po, sir.
Okay. So,
Yes.
anong mas sumagot doon sa ating tanong? And that is actually because of the word that extent to which objectives have been realized or met. So meaning your interpretations, kung tutuloy mo ba o hindi. Kung na-meet mo ba yung target goals mo because of the set objectives. Maliwanag po. Ito yung tinatawag nating learning targets and your objectives of your lesson. Diba? Meron tayo, if you are a teacher, meron tayong yung curriculum guide o yung BET na tinatawag. So merong objectives, merong competencies, may target. Okay po. So the answer here is evaluation. Sino pong tumama?
Evaluation.
Nakatamba na naman.
Yes. Yay, galing. Okay. Naku,
Tsamba na lang din sa tsambaan.
mukhang magtatap lahat to. Inshallah. Okay. The degree to which the test scores in a class spread. Okay. So the keyword there is spread. It has something to do with the test scores. So the answer there is
Range discrimination.
Range.
What is range?
Discrimination.
Range has something to do with what? The relationship between the highest and the lowest score. Okay? So the answer here is
Discrimination, sir.
discrimination. Discrimination. Ano ba yung discrimination? Or index of discrimination. It is your decision whether you are going to accept it or not. And this is actually a type in test.
Dispersion, sir. Dispersion.
So wait, the answer there is dispersion.
Yes.
Dispersion.
Tumachamba.
From the word disperse. Diba? Disperse. Meaning you spread.
Siya lang yung kakaiba kasi, sir.
Kala ko dahil sa pag-spread, sir, may discrimination.
Okay.
Kaya po yun, sir.
Yes, okay. So discrimination is more of your decision. And usually, we apply discrimination po in the index of difficulty na tinatawag. Now, when we are making item analysis.
Di ba sir
Okay?
yung
Yes, sir.
range from high to low?
High to low. Yes, the highest to low. To lowest. You're just identifying them. Because that will help you really to have your class interval na tinatawag pagka nahanap mo yung highest and lowest mo. Malalaman mo paano mo siya i-distribute. Kaya makikita mo merong scores na from 1 to 10. Then 15 to 20. Maliwanag po. So hindi ka nagde-decide kung gaano mo kalawak i-distribute. There is a certain standard paano mo i-distribute ang scores para magiging madali sa iyo yung tinatawag nating frequency distribution. Lalo na kapag it is a group data. Okay po?
Minsan iba yun ang sagot.
Yes, Sir Darrell?
Minsan po talaga sir kung sino pa yung kakaiba siya yung sagot.
Yes. Okay. Lahat po yan halos it talks about the test scores, no? It's just so happen because we're talking about the spread. Okay? Pag meron pa diyang distribution, ganun pa rin ang lalabas pa rin, dispersion pa rin siya. Okay? Kasi iba po yung distribution sa dispersion. Paliwanag po. Okay? Lagi ko nakikita yung tanong na to eh. Lagi ko siya na-encounter. Kasi minsan hindi na pagtutuunan ng pansin tong dispersion. Laging distribution of scores, walang dispersion, pero lagi po magkasama yung dalawang, no? Okay. This evaluation device includes analysis of all the scores in a given distribution. It is commonly used to estimate validity. So this has something to do with validity. So you can go back to my handouts and you will see there I have there about validity. Okay? So ano yung tatanggalin natin? Tanggalin natin si descriptive statistic. Okay? Because all of this talks about descriptive statistics. Meaning the data, the numbers that you obtain will give you a a big picture of what the scores represents with regards to your testing. Tatanggalin natin yung variables. Okay? Variables is anything, no? Is anything. Or we can also call it the factor. So, anong iiwanan natin? You can go back to the handouts that I give you. You will be able to see there these two deviations.
Standard and quartile.
Okay. Nakita, Miss Kate, nakita, di ba? You will see there, okay, in the map that I make, no? Okay, I have there the standard deviation and quartile deviation. So, the keywords that will help you here, parehas naman po yan, no? But the keywords that you will use here is commonly used. Okay, commonly used to estimate validity. Okay. Ano po ba yung gamit ng standard deviation in real life? Okay. Ang standard deviation ay ginagamit natin talaga para pwede nating sabihin kung kailan mo sabihin. For example, bumili ka ng damit. Kailan mo sasabihin na ang damit na yan ay medium, large, XL, extra small. Okay? So meaning there is a certain number that really identifies the difference between this set of numbers. Kaya siya tinawag na standard deviation. From the word deviation, right? You're moving from one scale to another. Kasi pag makikita natin, ginagamit to ang standard deviation as a mean of also a representation of mean. Liwanag po. Okay? So, ang quartile deviation naman is dividing the entire scores into quarter, meaning apat. So meaning, if you can see that on my handouts, I have there my illustration of a visual representation paano natin maintindihan. Pag quartile deviation, hinahati natin ang 100% into quarters. So meaning we're talking about the 25%. Okay? So paano mo malalaman yung quartile deviation? Okay? Kung kukuha ka po ng papel, no? Kung may papel kayo, pwede kayong kumuha ng papel. Okay? if you're going to apply what I have on my illustration, kung meron kang papel, ito ay 100%. Okay? Ito ay 100%. Pag pinod natin siya, okay, this will become now a line that divides your data into upper and lower. Are we clear? Are we clear po? So that would be now percentile. Pagka pinod uli natin siya, so we will be having creases or lines on it, no, sa papel. So makikita natin, it will divide your data into 4. Can you see that? Okay? So meaning, from 100%, we have 25%, 25%, 25%. Saan ang magre-represent ng quartile? The lines that divide. Okay? The lines that divide your scores as you arrange it. But before you do that, kailangan ano yung pinaka-basic rule for percentile, quartile, and decile, all of this, no? Kasi lahat naman po to, ang tawag talaga is percentile. This, okay? Nagkakaiba lang sila ng term because you tend to divide it into different. For quartile, 4. Pag decile, 10. So parehas pa rin, hinahati mo lang sila. Maliwanag po. Are we clear? Are we clear? Give me a thumbs up po. Yan. So, again, before I go on, the answer here is standard deviation. So, bago po natin gawin yung mga percentile na yun, ang una natin ginagawa, tina-arrange natin ang score from the minimum, from the lowest to highest. Hindi natin kasi pwede makita kung ano talaga yung nangyari doon sa ating scores kapag hindi natin i-arrange to ng minimum and maximum. Maliwanag po, kasi hinahati natin siya into the upper and to the lower half of the data. Clear po? Clear po? Okay. So let's move on. It is good and accepted practice, siguro dito maraming ano. Okay, it is good and accepted practice to give students challenging and creative learning tasks because
Individual development is on its own unique.
okay, individual development is on its own unique. Okay, that's true, di ba? Kanya-kanya tayo ng time ng pag-ano, di ba? Ng ating paghasa ng ating skills or our talents. Individual choices results in personal development. Yes, you are the one who decide how you are going to develop what you have. Cultural changes affect one's development. Totoo. Tama? Totoo po. Really, the culture, okay, the culture really affect also our learning, our development. Meron kasing sometimes culture that doesn't want us to really perform these certain activities. And how would you know that you can apply, you really develop that? Some cultures, bawal yung, di ba, halimbawa, merong performance task about dancing. So, paano mo maano yung skills mo about dancing? Your kinesthetic, rather, no? Your kinesthetic intelligence, if you are not going to do that particular. And we don't really adopt because we have that what we call cultural learning, no? Then, stimulation aids in the child's development. So, ano po kaya? Let's look. Challenging and creative learning.
Letter B, sir.
Letter B.
Letter B.
Sagot ko, sir. Letter B.
Boy, as in boy?
Letter D, sir.
Letter
Okay.
D.
Okay, the answer is
Letter B.
letter D.
Letter D, sir. Stimulation.
D, dog.
From the
Okay,
word
dog.
stimulate.
Okay, the answer is letter D. Stimulation aids in the child's development. Bakit? Pakinggan natin si Ma'am Marlene. Ma'am Marlene, letter D po ba sagot niyo? Sir Renz. Sir Renz, letter D ka ba? Sir?
Yes, sir. Letter
Okay.
D po.
So, bakit, sir, letter D? Ano pong naging basya mo? Based doon sa ating question.
Okay. Kasi sir, you are giving the student the spotlight, sir. Yung kung parang, kumbaga, ipapa-experience mo sa kanila through stimulation aids. So, pag na-experience kasi nila, sir, magkakaroon ng child's development kasi actual practice to kasi ang hinihingi. Hindi siya yung, basta, among the choices, yung letter D kasi yung actual, Yun, sir.
Okay. So that's great. Okay, that's great. So why we choose letter D over the 3? Etong 3 naman is totoo. Okay po. Over this 3 is totoo. Okay. Now we choose stimulation aids in the child's development. Let's look at the question. It is good and accepted practice to give students challenging and creative learning tasks. Okay. So when you give a student a certain activity that tends to challenge them, tends to give them the freedom to do anything, then you will be able to develop, okay, you will be able to really develop their different multiple intelligences. No? So we can stimulate them to really stimulate means it's like a motivation. Okay? Stimulus, from the word stimulus, it has something to do with your environment. Okay? Siyempre, paano ba yun? With the sayings, di ba? Paano nagiging madali sa bata ang isang learning? That's why lagi nilang consider teacher factor. Teacher factor lagi. Kapag ka mahal daw ng estudyante yung teacher, mas gustong-gusto nilang matuto. Diba? So what makes learning easy is the teacher character or attitude or disposition. Diba? So mas naiinganyo ka talagang i-bring out your best. So when you bring out your best, basically, then you are really on the midst of developing your own. Kasi naiinganyo ka niya. So stimulation is another way of engaging. Maliwanag po. Are we clear? Okay, another is because of the word aids, which means practice that you give. Okay? So, yun po yung how we will going to do it. Kaya letter D po yung pinaka sagot natin dyan. Next, what type of test measures higher order thinking skills? Alam ko, tama lahat ang sagot dito eh. Okay, the answer is letter D. Analogy. Okay, analogy. Okay. Completion or matching type, it's not. No, matching type is basically remembering facts. Okay. Enumeration, lalo na. Okay. Completion and analogy. Completion can be also a higher order thinking skills. But mostly completion type nagiging memorization lang. Not unless it is given as a clues. Clues. May tinatawag kasing clues type of test. Okay? Maraming possible words na pwede mo ilagay and you really rephrase. Now, analogy. Bakit analogy? When we say higher order thinking skills, meaning that is thinking outside the box. Okay? Thinking beyond thinking. So when we say analogy, you are looking at the structured relationship.
Metacognition.
Okay, yes, metacognition. You are looking at the structured relationship. Ito yung nakikita natin, you know what is an analogy type of test? Yung merong isang dito, then you have semicolon, then you have another, then you will be guessing the another one. So if you will not be able to identify the relationship, the structured relationship between this pair of words, then you will not be able to give really what is being asked as the correct answer. So yun po yung makikita natin, for example, about mean is to central tendency. Standard deviation is 2. Ayan. So, meron ding mga questions na ganun sa board exam. So, we need to look at it as structured relationship. Maliwanag po. Okay? Kasi pwede mong isipin na ano. And this is one type of the test in DOST scholarship. Okay, DOST scholarship. Malupit nga yung sa DOST scholarship kasi you will be given a piece of paper. You have all the relationship with that. Then after 30 minutes, you will crumple the paper, you will throw it, okay, and you will be given a blank paper. You're going to write kung ano yung natandaan mo. So that's why you need to really look at the structured relationship. Ano yung na-identify niya. And there are a lot of type of tests in that in proper. Pero mostly situational po, no? Okay, eto. When the distribution is skewed to the right, what kind of test was administered? Skewed to the right.
Difficult.
Nasaan, okay, skewed na uli, nandito na uli tayo, skewed, no? So, we need to really pay attention to the bulk or to the peak, yung tinatawag nating peak, okay? Look at the peak and in the tail. Pag sinabi nating skewed to the right,
Positively skewed.
okay, skewed to the right, positively skewed. Okay, positively skewed. Nasaan yung bulk? Nasaan yung peak?
Nasa right.
Nasa right. Now, okay, if can you remember the graph of the skewness of the distribution? Again, the y is the frequency or the number of students who answered. The x is the score. So the left will always represent number line negative. The right will always represent positive, meaning highest score, lowest score. Are we clear? Are we clear po? Okay. Now, when the distribution is skewed to the right, what kind of test was administered? You see, by simply looking at the score, kasi nga, bakit makikita mo na kung mahirap, madali, o ano yung test? Kasi makikita mo na yung distribution of scores because of the peak and the tail. Okay? So, what would be the answer here?
Letter A.
Easy, average, difficult, partly easy, partly difficult. Difficult.
Difficult.
Okay, difficult. Bakit? Nasaan yung peak?
Nasa right.
Nasa right.
Nasa ang peak?
Nasa right.
Nasa right ang peak? Are sure? Tama, nakuha natin difficult, pero nasaan yung peak? Yung tabang ganun, yung matabang ganun. Then yung tail. Okay? So we will again focus on that one, no? Yung peak, yung pinaka-importante yung peak. Kaya nga ganun yung tanda natin, no? So ganun. Hindi yung pag ganun. Okay po? Are we clear? Sino po nakakuha ng tama? So again, you see, a simple graph can be translated into different questions. The score is actually will tell you if what kind of test is that. The index of difficulty index of the test. Okay? So babagsak yung discrimination dito. Ayan. Partly easy, partly difficult. Alam mo na. Okay? Alam mo na. That is what? Skewed or normal?
Normal.
Okay.
Neutral,
Pwede ba sabihin natin ang test average?
Sir?
Pwede ba natin sabihin na test na tinik natin average? Pag tinanong ko, kamusta yung test mo?
Average.
Average.
Pwede po. Pwede
So,
siya.
okay, average kasi it means partly easy, partly difficult, no? Okay? Pero pagdating talaga sa distribute, pag nakita po natin yung word of partly easy, partly difficult, tapos ang skewed is normal, go with that. Are we clear? Go with that. More than the average. Okay? More than the average. So let's move on. Miss A administered the test to her class and the result is positively skewed. What kind of test do you think Miss A gave to her pupils? So ito naman type of test, di ba? Kanina, gaano naman katindi yung test? Ito type of test. Is that a pre-test, a post-test, a mastery test, a criterion reference test? So, ano titingnan natin? Positively skewed. Nasaan ngayon yung peak? So ano kayang sagot dito?
Mastery
Mataas ba ang score?
parang same lang.
O mababa ba yung score?
Same lang yung C and D.
Okay, tatanggalin natin si
C and D.
C and D. Okay, tatanggalin natin si C and D. Okay? Because mastery somehow tells you about criterion. Okay? So tanggalin natin. Iwanan natin si pre-test at saka si post-test.
Pre-test is before. Post-test
Okay.
during
So,
or after.
positively skewed. Again, nasaan ngayon? Nasa positive score ba yung peak? O nasa negative score ba yung peak? Positive
Nasa na
Okay, nandito, di ba? Yung tail niya nandun. That is right, skewed, di ba? Pag positive. So, anong klaseng test ang binigay? Alam ba ng bata? Alam na ba ng bata yung topic o hindi pa?
Hindi pa.
Hindi pa. Kasi
So, that is
Pretest.
pre-test. Wow, ang galing. Galing ni Sir Jan dyan. Ayan, pre-test. Eh, kasi hindi pa alam ng bata, ay yung distribution ng score nandito. Maliwanag po. Nakita niya na paano ginagamit po yung skewed, yung graph na yon. Pwede palang i-transfer sa different way of questioning. So lahat bumabagsak doon sa ating tinatawag na assessment and evaluation. Kasi test, measurement, evaluation, interpretation. Okay? Okay, the result of the test given by teacher M showed a negatively skewed distribution. Again, I have a typographical. What kind of test did teacher M give? Negatively skewed.
Letter A.
Easy.
Yes, ang galing. O yan. Oh, pwede na. Pwede na. Actually, to tell you honestly, ito yung mga question na medyo nahihirapang sagutin talaga sa prof. Kasi nga, again, we don't really pay attention on those trivial things. Kasi sometimes tinitingnan lang talaga natin yung graph, pero hindi natin alam kung paano siya i-apply as the nature of test, the nature of score, the nature of learner. Okay? So ito po yung titingnan natin pagdating sa skewed, no? The nature of test, the nature of the score, and the nature of learner. Mamaya meron po tayo na nature of learner. Okay. Let's move on. Yun. In a negatively skewed distribution, yan, nature of learner. What kind of student does teacher have?
very
Very
good.
good.
Very good, very poor, average, heterogeneous.
Very good.
Very good.
Very,
Very good.
very good. Are you sure?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
May kukontra ba?
Wala.
Wala. Okay, ang gagaling naman. Galing ng mga LPTs. Very good. Excellent. Okay, excellent. Sir Darrell. Sir Darrell, okay ba?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So, heterogeneous, di natin siya pwedeng sabihin na heterogeneous. Heterogeneous, we pertain to the grouping.
More spread.
Okay, the grouping. And we are not talking about the grouping. Okay, we're talking about the performance. Maliwanag po. When we say heterogeneous, we're talking about the grouping of the learners. Ito yung section, di ba? Pagka sinabi naman natin homo, ibig sabihin lahat ng magagaling because of the test scores, halimbawa, all of 93 and above,
Class
dito
A.
sa pilots class. Yung iba dito sa ano, I don't know if in the Philippines meron pang ganon. Meron pa ata, meron tinatawag na student of the future, GT, gifted and talented, parang ganon, no? Okay? Sa
Tapos
mga,
makatawag.
ang tawag sa school na yun, kalimutan ko. Special schools yata, special schools na meron silang gifted and talented na mga group, variety of learners. And they actually use those learners in their testing kapag meron silang gustong i-identify in the performance of the population. Okay, eto. In a positively skewed distribution, which of the following is true?
Letter
Let's
C, sir.
focus now on that. Diba? Doon sa skewed distribution, may measure of central tendency. Tama?
Yes, sir.
Okay, magtanggal muna tayo kasi gusto ko munang malaman anong tinanggal niya. Although binigay niyo na sa akin tamang sagot, gusto ko munang alamin kung anong tinanggal niyo.
B at C.
B and C ang tinanggal?
Opo.
B and D yung pinaka.
B and?
B at
B and D.
B and D.
A.
Sige. Okay, B and D. Okay, o ganito. Pag sinabi nating skewness, anong pinag-uusapan natin? Pag skewness.
yung anak, sir.
Yung anak. Bakit nagkaroon ng ganon? Bakit nagkaroon ng ganon? Ano naging basihan niya? Pag sinabi nating skewness, or remember, the skewness represents on how the scores are distributed around the mean.
Skewness, it represents the asymmetry of standard deviation.
Okay. Standard deviation is mean. Again, skewness, again tingnan nyo, dito sa tanong na to, nandyan ang tatlong measure of central tendency. Although naibigay nyo sa akin yung tamang sagot, pero yung tinanggal nyo, paano na lang pagka, kaya i-rationalize ni sir. May mode, may median, may mean. May choices, kinumpara si mode, tsaka si median. May choices, kinumpara si median, at tsaka si mean. May choices, kinumpara si median, at tsaka si mode. Di ba? Paikot-ikot lang. Okay. Ngayon, if you're going to look back to my handouts, I define their skewness has something to do with the distribution of the score around the mean. Kaya sabi ni Sir Darius, standard deviation, that's another term for mean in different way naman. Kasi ang mean is about measure of central tendency, while standard deviation is on the other one. It is under validity. Okay? So, anong tatanggalin mo? So, dahil doon sa concept na yun, the distribution of the score around the mean, wala akong pakialam kay mode tsaka kay median.
Letter A.
Nagets pa ako? Okay? Nagets pa ako? So, I will be focusing on those that includes the mean. Okay? That's the first thing that I will look. Because by the definition of skewness, it is the distribution of the score around the mean. Maliwanag po. Maliwanag po ba?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And remember, mean, median, mode are just the same. They simply means arithmetic, meaning an average. Yung median lang nagiging focus mo kapag normal distribution. Pero pagka skewed, magpo-focus ka ngayon sa position ni mean at saka ni mode. Maliwanag po. So kaya, ang iiwanan mo is something that have the mean on it. Okay?
Yes.
So the correct answer is letter
C.
C. Sino nakakuha ng C?
Analyze
Si sir.
na naman.
Yan, tama lahat. Okay. Yun. Naintindihan niyo po yung rationalization ko. Again,
Yes, sir.
kaya po doon sa aking ginawang handouts, dinefine ko talaga kung ano yung skewness because I really expecting to have some like this kasi na-encounter ko ng ganito sa mga review. Okay? Kung magpo-focus lang tayo doon sa di natin ipo-focus yung iba, yung mean, malilito tayo. Paano kung pare-parehas lahat mean? Okay? Walang median, walang mode. Mean lahat ang ginamit. Pinaglaruan lang yung dalawa. Po. Klaro po. Okay, next. Okay, which set of score has the least variability?
D.
Letter D.
Okay, letter?
Letter D.
Okay, galing. Letter D. Paano nyo nahanap?
Nare-recall lang, sir.
By examination?
Yan,
Nare-
yung 5
Recall na lang po.
Kasi sabi nila, Sir, letter D kasi tatlo lang po. Yung the rest, madami.
Knowledge, sir. Karating na lang po.
Sir, ano ba ginamit? Ano ginamit nyo? Variability. Meron tayong ginagamit to really measure about variability. At
add,
anong
sir, add.
pinaka-simple way to know the variability of the score? That is using the
Add ang
Yes, Miss Crystalline.
i-add tatlong numbers, sir, tapos i-divide kung ilan. Tama
Okay,
ba?
mean. Ginamit mo yung mean. Ginamit mo yung mean. Okay. Sige. Okay yun, kasi nakuha mo naman siya. Kaya tumama ka, no?
Sabi niya
Sir
kasi
Darrell,
D.
anong ginamit mo, Sir Darrell, para makuha mo na letter D?
Sabi niya kasi, sir, list. So, yung naiiba lang, sir, yung letter D. Pinakamalayo. Ang layo-layo ka, sir.
Okay, ang layo-layo. Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay. Punta tayo doon sa handouts na binigay ko.
Average.
Ito last time. Ano yung mga way to know about variability? Anong unang ginagamit para malaman mo ang variability ng isang score?
Getting the average.
Average ka agad?
Center sa ano nila, center.
Sa center? Okay. So, Anyway, all of you were able to get it correct. Pero gusto ko lang talaga malaman para alam natin. Usually, sabi na iba, sir, by inspection, kasi 505, 501, 503, tatlo lang. The rest, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Wow. So, ano kayang naging ano dito? Bakit letter? Tama po kayo, letter D siya. Tama po kayo, letter D siya.
Kakaiba kasi sa sir.
Anong kakaiba, Sir Darrell? Sir Darrell, kakaiba. Ang kakaiba, Sir Darrell.
Kasi yung pinakamalaki yung ano sir.
Yung pinakamalaki ng bilang, sir.
Siya yung pinakamalaki yung score.
Opo, yung bilang niya, sir, ang laki.
Yung bilang niya malaki.
Opo.
Kaya, parang nare-recall ko kasi yung tanong sir, tapos yan yung sagot din sa mga mga previous previous.
So, pero kailangang alam natin. Sige, gawin natin. Ang range ba is a measure of variability? Sige nga. Ang range po ba ay measure of variability?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ma'am Cristelyn, di ba? Measure of variability siya, di ba? Ano yung tatlong ano ng variability, Ma'am Cristelyn? Pakibasa.
Wait, let's
Range, yun yung una, di ba? Una, range.
quartile division, then standard deviation.
Okay. So, variability, may range, standard deviation, quartile deviation. Okay?
Yes.
So, anong ginamit mo dito? Kung mathematics teacher ka, mag-standard deviation ka. Pero ang pinakagagamitin mo dyan is range. Okay. What is range? Highest minus lowest. Sa letter A, the highest is 20. The lowest is 0. Are you following? Are you following? Okay. The same thing with letter B. The highest is 55. The lowest is 25. Letter C. Again. Ito. The highest is 505. The lowest is
503.
501. Ilan?
Yun lang pala yung tinatanong.
Okay? So, yung sasabi natin, variability, kailangan alam natin that the first thing to use is the range. O, huwag niyo nang isipin yung quartile. Yung standard deviation, again, pag in-analogy natin siya, the mean is equals to central tendency or measure of central tendency. Standard deviation is equals to variability. Maliwanag po. Okay? So, ang gagamitin natin una is, kung gusto mo mag-solve, is range. Because that is the first way you will be able to really identify the variability. Are we clear? Tama yung sagot niyo, pero gusto ko lang po yung rationalization para yun yung tatatak sa utak natin. Paano kung binago? Di ba? Pero so, in-expect ko talaga may sasagot kasi konti po siya. Yung iba marami. Okay? Eh pag ganun po inisip natin, paapektuhan yung mean. Di ba? Because the mean will be affected by the numbers. Liwanag po. So, Bernard obtained a 97 percentile rank in the aptitude test. This means, percentile ulit. Okay? He answered 97% of the items correctly. He belongs to the 97% of the group who took the test. 79% of the examinees did better than him on the test. He surpassed 97% of those who took the test.
D.
Ano sagot? Letter D. Okay. Again? Sinong sumagot ng letter D? Wow, galing. Top notcher na tong mga LPTs. Okay. So, bakit po yung letter D ang ginamit natin? Again, percentile rank has something to do with the standing of the given score in relation to the test. Maliwanag po. Are we clear? And again, babalikan ko lang, sabi nila sa let P75 ginagamit. And I don't know if that is true, no? Kaya, it depends pa rin po doon sa ating score. So, again, last time, tinanong ko ano yung dapat i-focus natin. Pwede pong mag-focus tayo. If you find na medyo nahihirapan ka sa Gen Ed, then Gen Ed. Pagka sa Prop Ed, pero ang Prop Ed po kasi is thinking beyond thinking, meaning you just need to get the concept and anticipate paano siya gagawing question. That is what we call preparation talaga. To anticipate the question. Kaya ina-advise talaga to answer a lot of questions. Sabi nga nila 50 a day. Ako sabi ko 25 lang kasi how would you have 25 tapos di mo naman nakikita yung pattern or relationship between these questions kung anong topic sila bumabagsak, then it would be also useless na pagkasagot tayo ng sagot ng maraming question. Tingnan natin the pattern, the content or the topic that really those questions are derived from or belong. Okay, so kung makikita natin, mostly ito's all about variability, reliability, no? Kaya meron tayong mga percentile ranking and everything. So lahat po nung binigay kong handouts that is in bullets, kung makikita nyo, so meaning those are the important thing to remember. At yun lang po yung tatandaan natin. More than memorizing is analyzing it. Okay? So sino po ang perfect? Okay. Sinong isang mali? Wala. Okay. Isang tama. Mas Sir Darrell talaga. Okay. So I hope you enjoy our third session. Medyo konti tayo siguro dahil sa connection problem, no? So and again I will be uploading this and again po pakibasa po yung handouts na binigay ko my dear LPTs and it will really help you, no? More than answering a lot of questions is to identify the pattern on those questions. And please keep abreast about the different current trend about measurement and evaluation. Yun. Yung maraming nag-chat. I understand. Okay po. I completely understand yung nawala po tayo. So with that, again, I hope it's again a fruitful learning with me and with you as well, with your own self-assessment and reflection. Okay? So again po, before I go, I will just ask for evaluation again. So, Sir Jomar, yan, si Sir Jomar siguro, I will ask evaluation. Sige po. And again, sige po, go ahead.
Wait muna, sir. The signal. Wait muna, sir.
Sige po. Welcome po, Ma'am Marlene. Ano, wala Sir Jomar. O si Ma'am Christine siguro muna.
Hello, sir.
Hello po.
Di pa na pagbasa, sir. Recalling.
Di pa nabasa yung handouts. Okay. So please have time to read the handouts po.
Yes po.
Okay, thank you Sir Darrell. Okay, paki-open po natin yung cam for documentation. Thank you for that, Sir Darrell. Yan. Para at least makita ko naman po yung mga nagkagandahan at nagkagapuhang future LPTs. Yan. Walang pasok sa Sir Renz.
Wala sa Jollibee.
Okay. So,
off duty, sir, every Friday.
Okay. Sister Mohaira. And please, if you have questions po, feel free to admin Facebook. May mga nagtanong, nagpapasalamat po ako doon sa mga nagpapatanong about hindi lang po sa measurement and evaluation, meron din po sa mga ibang subject. Okay po.
Nasa book po ata yung iba, sir, nasa live.
Yes. Sige po, paki-open na lang po for the documentation. Mag-screenshot si Sir Darren.
Nagre-retouch pa sila.
Nagre-retouch pa? Ay, no. Baka may mga eyebags na, no? Again, more than po yung pagre-review natin, alagaan din po natin yung sarili natin, no? Kailangan din nating nare-rest po yung ating mind. So, kahit hindi naman po araw-araw, i-rest po natin yung mind natin. Again, I did not teach you more of solving kasi wala naman masyadong solving talaga. It is more of interpretation. Okay? It's more of interpretation. It's not solving. Kung may solving man, yung range lang. Yan. Huwag nyo nang isipin yung standard deviation, tsaka Sir Daryl, yung variance. Medyo, ano yan, walang ano yan. Interpretation lang po. Interpretation.
Yung tatlo na lang po, may natitira pa po tatlo nakakalusot camera.
Yan. Ma'am Mayra Zol, Ma'am Laguna, Sister Mohaira, ay, may kid. May kiddo. Yes. Yan, okay na po, Sir Darren.
Okay lang po ako na.
Yan. Hello, Sister Mohaira. Yan.
Smile na lang po. 1, 2, 3. Isa pa po.
Daryl, ayusin mo. Daryl, ayusin mo.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, thank you, Sir Darrell. Sino ba? Ayan. Ma'am Christine, any evaluation? This might be our last session. Sige po. Just an evaluation of what we have today. Again, binago ko po yung style natin, no? Kasi gusto ko talagang ma-check kung nabasa na yung handouts natin. Sige po, go ahead, Ma'am Christine. Unmute po. Unmute.
Sir?
Yes po. Any evaluation? Anything you want to say for the culmination of our review? Sige po. Kahit ano po.
Ano, sir? Sa sir, pre-assessment kanina, kailangan ka ng hint or ano ba yun? Yung keyword hint po. Para
yung keyword, yes. Again, advice ko po, more than the keyword is understand the meaning of the keyword so that pag nilagay po siya sa question, kahit baguhin siya, alam nyo. And the synonyms of that. Okay? Kasi yun lang naman pwedeng gawin sa test question. Okay. Yun. Thank you, Ma'am Christine. Sir Jomar. Yan. Any evaluation, sir?
Sir, same with ma'am, yung kanina. We need to understand the keywords by reading the question, the questionnaire, and then we must dapat talaga maintindihan natin yung every sentence ng question so that malalaman natin kung ano talaga yung the best answer na makukuha natin.
Yes, that's nice, Sir Jomar. Kasi as I said, ang sagot minsan nasa tanong na. Okay, ang sagot ay nasa tanong na. So, yun po yung ano natin. Okay? So, okay. Any other po who wants to give an evaluation before we say goodbye? Again, if you have questions, drop by sa Facebook po, walang problema, no? I really love to help people as far as I can. So, wala na po. Sir Renz, siguro?
Wala naman na, sir. Wala naman.
Wala naman. Okay. So, yun po. So, I will end up with that. Again, maraming salamat po for staying with me and yung mga iba pong dahil sa connectivity issues. Yan. So, again po, good luck, LPTs, for in your preparation. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you po.
Nakita ko na yung mga nagwagwapuhan. Ano? Yan. Puro mga, ano to?
Nagagandahan.
Nagagapuan at nagagandahan. Siyempre. Yan. Nagagapuan at nagagandahan. Okay? Again, may advice po. Huwag din natin masyadong i-drain yung utak natin sa pagre-review. Rest din po tayo. Okay? Rest din tayo. Huwag yung tuloy-tuloy. Rest.
Thank you, sir. Thank you po. Thank you, sir.
God bless. God bless, guys. God bless.
God bless you too, sir.
Okay, I will close the meeting na po.
Yes, sir.
Thank you once again. Thank you once again. God bless. Stay safe. Good luck.